Namaste, angels. I want to bring you the weekly general reading for Sunday, August 20th through Saturday, August 26th. And hopefully I'm definitely going to do the love reading after this too. And then hopefully I'll be able to squeeze the moon reading in also. And then I'm out of here because I'm going to go to South Carolina to see the full solar eclipse, the new black moon, in person or, along that belt. It's from Oregon to South Carolina in the United States is where you can see it full. So that's where I'm going, to South Carolina. Any case, this week on the spiritual front, the 22nd, I mentioned last week, is the feast day of the Queenship of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So I'll give you a little bit about what that's about. The 24th, the feast day of Saint Bartholomew, the Apostle. So there's always a saint day or, somebody else, an ascended master or something that could be celebrated every single day. But I typically don't mention the others. I only mention those who I feel may be connected to what we're going through, the same journey. So certainly the apostles, the prophets, Moses, Elijah, Isaiah, all of those people. If I'm told something about them or I learn something about them, I receive it from God, I'm going to share those things with you. So this week, on that front, it's Mary and St. Bartholomew. And on the Jewish calendar, because there's also a special day on the Jewish calendar, on the 23rd is the Hebrew month of Elul for this year 5777. And Elul is a month all about love, and soulmate love, divine love, like our love between the universe and us, between God and us, and vice versa, and between, romantic couples, husband and wife, that type of love. So I'm looking forward to telling you guys some about that. And all right, I guess let's do it. We'll begin with Queen of Heaven. Queen of Heaven is the title given to Mary, Mother of Jesus, by Christians mainly of the Roman Catholic Church, and to some extent Eastern Orthodoxy and Anglicanism. The title is a consequence of the First Council of Ephesus in the 5th century, in which Mary was proclaimed, it's a Greek word, Theotokos, a title rendered in Latin, they say, as Mater Dei, which in English means Mother of God. And I'll scroll down. This is Wikipedia, by the way. I'll scroll down because I think we've talked about some of that other stuff before. And I'll go to the biblical basis. In the Hebrew Bible, under some Davidic, means like David, kings, the Gebira, the great lady, usually the mother of the king, held great power as an advocate with the king. In 1 Kings 2:20, Solomon said to his mother Bathsheba, seated on the throne at his right, "Make your request, mother, for I will not refuse you." William G. most sees here a sort of type of Mary. In the New Testament, the title has several biblical sources. At the Annunciation, the Archangel Gabriel announces that Jesus will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High God, and the Lord God will give to him the throne of his father David. He will rule over the house of Jacob forever and reign without end. Luke 1:32. The biblical precedent in ancient Israel is that the mother of the king becomes the queen mother. Mary's queenship is a share in Jesus's kingship. The Roman Catholic Church views Mary as the woman clothed with the sun in the book of Revelation. And I had a whole dream about this. I told you last year, before we even ended up in depth, before I had any idea I'd end up doing, this to this extent. When I was having those revelations, I had a full dream of being chased by a demon, pregnant, like the book of Revelations. But this is 12:1-3. A great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his heads. The church accepts Revelation 12 as a reference to Mary, Israel, and the church as a threefold symbolism through the book of Isaiah, and affirms Mary as the mother of Jesus and as the prophetic fulfillment described in Revelation 12. In the Hebrew Bible, the term Queen of Heaven appears in a context unrelated to Mary. The prophet Jeremiah, writing in sometime around 628 BC, refers to a Queen of Heaven in chapters 7 and 44. The book of Jeremiah also, he mentions them when he scolds the people for having sinned against their Lord due to their idolatrous practices of burning incense and making cakes and pouring out drink offerings to quote unquote her. And the her that he was referring to is Asherah, a Canaanite idol and goddess worshipped in ancient Israel and Judah. For discussion of Queen of Heaven in the Hebrew Bible, you can see Queen of Heaven, the Antiquity. So that's Wikipedia. Anybody's free to continue to read on that, of course. I'm going to go on to St. Bartholomew. Bartholomew was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. He has been identified with Nathanael, who appears in the Gospel according to John as being introduced to Christ by Philip, who would also become an apostle. Although some modern commentators reject the identification of Nathanael with Bartholomew. According to the Coptic Orthodox Church, his martyrdom is commemorated on the first day of the Coptic calendar, which is the first day of the month of Thout, T-H-O-U-T, which currently falls on September 11th. So it's not, these dates are not a mistake. Just because we don't know them and we don't know why somebody would choose September 11th, for example, to hold an event that's supposed to be related to religion and God, these are reasons why. In any case, it corresponds to August 29th, which is Michael Jackson's birthday, on the Julian calendar. His feast is June 11th in Eastern Christianity and August 24th in the Lutheran Church, as well as the Anglican and the Roman Rite of the Catholic Church. Bartholomew comes from the Aramaic meaning Talmai, or son of the furrows, or perhaps of a plowman, so like son of a farmer. Bartholomew is listed among the 12 apostles of Jesus in 3 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and also appears as one of the witnesses of the Ascension. On each occasion, however, his name is in the company of Philip. He is not mentioned by the name Bartholomew in the Gospel of John, nor are there any earlier writings, with the earliest being written by a writer who assumed the identity of Abdias of Babylon and to whom is attributed Saint Theory manuscript. Okay, whatever that is. I'm not familiar with Saint Theory's manuscript. So some of you guys may be. And if you want to be, I'm sure you can look it up. In any case, I'm going to scroll down to his martyrdom, if I can find it. Maybe not. All right, I think this is where it would be, because he was a missionary after he was an apostle walking around with Jesus. Of course, their purpose, the purpose of all the disciples, all 144,000 of them, in addition to the 12 apostles and other members of the elect, was to spread the word around the world. So he had a mission to India and then also in Armenia. And I believe Armenia is where he met his death. So I'm going to go to that one. Along with his fellow apostle Jude Thaddeus, Bartholomew is reputed to have brought Christianity to Armenia in the 1st century. Thus, both saints are considered the patron saints of the Armenian Apostolic Church. He is said to have been martyred in Armenia. Yes, according to one account, he was beheaded, but a more popular tradition holds that he was flayed alive and crucified head downward. Ouch. He is said to have converted Palmius, the king of Armenia, to Christianity, and his brother consequently ordered him executed. He was mad that he changed religions, I guess. Maybe it changed the whole politics of the country. Who knows? In any case, the 13th century St. Bartholomew Monastery was a prominent Armenian monastery constructed at the site of the martyrdom of the apostle Bartholomew in Greater Armenia, which is now southeastern Turkey. And with that, I'll move into what's going on this week, the sky this week, astronomy.com. Beginning with the 20th, Comet Pan-STARRS, P-A-N-S-T-A-R-R-S, currently hovers over the 10th and 11th magnitude, bright enough to see through most small telescopes. But its main claim to fame early this week is its convenient location just south of the Pleiades star cluster M45. From August 14th to August 21st, the solar system object appears as a fuzzy patch of light passing less than 1 degree south of the Dipper-shaped cluster. Monday, August 21st, the day amateur astronomers have been looking forward to for decades, is finally upon us. For the first time since 1979, the moon's dark umbral shadow touches the continental United States, bringing a total solar eclipse. People in the path of totality, which stretches from the Oregon coast to the shores of South Carolina, will see the sun's bright surface disappear and its ethereal corona blossom around the moon's pitch black disk. For complete details on observing this historic event, see the August issue of Astronomy. Tuesday, August 22nd, which is another day dedicated to Mary, by the way. Well, yes, it's the queenship, but it's tied into Our Lady of Fatima as well, and I didn't mention that. In any case, distant Neptune reaches opposition and peak visibility in 2 weeks, but the view now is essentially the same. The ice giant planet rises during evening twilight and climbs nearly halfway to the zenith in the southern sky by 2 a.m. local daylight time. The magnitude 7.8 planet lies in Aquarius, 1.5 degrees east of 4th magnitude Lambda Aquarii. You'll need binoculars to spy Neptune and a telescope to see its blue-gray disk, which spans 2.4 inches. Wednesday, August 23rd. Although Saturn reaches opposition more than 2 months ago, it remains a tempting target in the evening sky. The ringed world stands highest in the south an hour after sunset and doesn't dip below the horizon until after midnight local daylight time. Saturn shines at a magnitude of 0.4 against the backdrop of Southern Serpent Bearer, a constellation whose brightest star glows 6 times fainter than the planet. When viewed through a telescope, Saturn's globe measures 17 inches across, while its spectacular ring system spans 39 inches and tilts 27 degrees to our line of sight. Thursday, August 24th. Uranus's visibility continues to improve week by week. It now appears nearly 25 degrees high in the east by midnight local daylight time and climbs highest in the south as morning twilight commences. The magnitude 5.7 planet lies in Pisces, 1.1 degree north of magnitude 4.3 Omicron, or Pisceum. A telescope reveals Uranus's blue-green disk, which spans 3.6 inches. Friday, August 25th. Following its meeting with the sun earlier this week, the moon has now climbed into view in the evening sky. Be sure to catch the 20% lit crescent this evening when it forms a pretty triangle with magnitude -1.8 Jupiter and first magnitude Spica. All 3 objects lie in the constellation Virgo and stand well clear of the west-southwestern horizon during evening twilight. And don't pass up an opportunity to view Jupiter through a telescope. The giant planet's disk spans 33 inches and shows a wealth of atmospheric detail. Saturday, August 26th. Venus appeared among the background stars of Gemini, the twins, yesterday morning, but you'll find it against the backdrop of Cancer, the crab, today. The border crossing sets up a pretty conjunction a week from now, when the gleaming planet appears 1 degree south of the Beehive cluster M44. Mercury reaches inferior conjunction, passing between the sun and earth at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The innermost planet will return to view before dawn in early September. And lastly, Sunday, August 27th, the constellations Ursa Major, the Great Bear, and Cassiopeia, the Queen, lie on opposite sides of the North Celestial Pole, so they appear to pivot around the North Star, or Polaris, throughout the course of the night and of the year. In late August and early September, these 2 constellations appear equally high as darkness falls. You can find Ursa Major and its prominent asterism, the Big Dipper, about 30 degrees above the northwestern horizon. Cassiopeia's familiar W shape, which currently lies on its side, appears the same height above the northeastern horizon. As the night progresses, Cassiopeia climbs above Polaris with the Big Dipper while the Big Dipper swings below. And lastly, a cute story about Elul. And this is from Shabbat.org, and it's called The Jewish Heart, The Secret of Elul, by Sarah, S-A-R-A, Esther, E-S-T-H-E-R, Crisp, C-R-I-S-P-E. Love, It is the most powerful of human emotions. We all crave it. We can't live without it. And yet it's so overwhelming, so all-encompassing that there is no way to measure it, prove it, define it, or even describe it. When we speak of the intellect, it is represented by the mind. And when we speak of the emotions, specifically of love, they're represented by the heart. But why? The symbol of the heart is probably one of the most well-known symbols. Religions, languages, that little red heart means love. It's used to sign letters to represent the word love itself, and has inundated the buyer's market of being plastered on cards, t-shirts, necklaces, balloons, and just about everything else. How is the image of the heart, as we most commonly know it, the symbol for this passionate experience of love? The month that we're in now, Elul, is the key to unlocking the inner, most potent meaning of the heart. As is well known, the Hebrew letters that make the word Elul are an acronym for the phrase from the biblical Song of Songs, which means, I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. So it's like being promised to one another. The beautiful and romantic phrase is that which represents our relationship with our Creator, which is often paralleled to that of a husband and wife, a bride and a groom in our individual lives. The Zohar explains that at the beginning of Elul, we are anchor el anchor, meaning back to back. And by the end of Elul, we are panim el panim, meaning face to face. But how can it be that we're back to back? Wouldn't that imply that God has his back turned to us as well? How can we say such a thing when this is the month in which, as Hasidic master Rabbi Shuner Zalman of Liadi teaches, the king is in the field? Is it not the month when God is more accessible than ever? When he is waiting for us to greet him? When he is there for us in the field of our everyday lives? The fact that we are described as back to back and then face to face is an incredible lesson. Often we feel angry, hurt, abandoned. Whatever the root of our pain may be, we turn our back. When our back is turned, we have no idea of the state of the other. And it is often easier to believe that we are the only one with a turned back. It's easier to think the other also turned around, that the other isn't facing us at all. Because if that is the case, then even if we turn around, it won't help. So why bother? Why make the first move only to turn around and see the back of the other? But this rationalization is the cause of many unsettled arguments, hurt feelings, and broken relationships. How classic is the scene played out endlessly in movies of the couple who walk away from one another. At some point, the man turns around, wanting to call her name, ask for another chance, beg for forgiveness. He's about to speak, but he realizes that her back is turned. She's walking away. He tells himself that it's too late. She doesn't care. So he turns back around. Seconds later, she turns to look at him. So she doesn't want this to end. She wants to say something, but can't garner the courage, doesn't have the strength. And why? Why should she when his back is turned? She looks at him longingly, but it just doesn't matter. She assumes he couldn't care less as he continues to walk away from her. And we, the viewers, sit on the edge of our seats, hoping that maybe they will both turn around at the same second, that they will finally realize that the other does care, that even though they appear to be back to back, they really want to be face to face. Sometimes that fairy tale ending does happen. Other times they simply continue to walk in opposite directions right out of each other's lives. It is the month of Elul that teaches us the necessity of being willing to turn around. The king is in the field. Our Creator is there. And no matter how we may feel, he has never turned his back around. All we need to do is turn ourselves around to realize that he is there waiting for us. The back-to-back that we experience in the beginning of the month is based on our misperceptions, our fears, our assumptions. Only when we turn around do we realize the truth, the inner essence, and then we're face to face, which does not only mean that we can finally look at each other, but more so that we can look in each other. For the root of the word for face, panim, is the same as pinamut, which means innerness. So now the question is how this lesson is taught to us, not only in the month of Elul, but through the name Elul itself. A Hebrew name is not a mere way of referring to something, but actually represents its soul. Hasidic teaches that every parent is gifted with divine inspiration. When he or she names a child, it is the name that represents the deepest aspects of this person. Kabbalah. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. Kabbalah and Hasidic teach us that to uncover the essential meaning of the Hebrew word, we need to analyze the letters that comprise it, their numerical value, their form, and their meaning. Yes, that's another numerical language that I have trouble memorizing all of the letters, but I know quite a bit of it. I know Moses' name equals 613. Anyway, as we said above, the word Elul is comprised of aleph, followed by a lamd, followed by a vav, followed by the final letter, another lamd. The first letter in Elul is also the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. The letter aleph is numerically equivalent to 1, which represents the idea of God's total unity. So now we must answer how all of this is related to the heart. Here is where our laments are once again defined. At this point, it's important to think again about the symbol of the heart and to question its origin. And so it should come as no surprise that the meaning of this symbol will once again be found in the word heart itself. In Hebrew, the word for heart is lev, which is spelled lamd bet. Rabbi Abraham Abdullafa, in the year 1291, wrote a manuscript by the name of Imre Shefer, in which he defines the meaning of the heart. Rabbi Abdullafa teaches that the word lev, lamd bet, needs to be understood as 2 lameds. This is because the letter bet is the second letter in the alphabet and is numerically equivalent to 2. So he explains that the word needs to be read and understood as 2 lameds. But it's not enough to have 2 lameds. As Rabbi Yitzhak Ginsburg explains, in order for there to be a relationship, the 2 lameds need to be connected. They need to be face to face. When we turn around the second lamed to face the first, we form the image of the Jewish heart, as seen in the picture at the beginning of this article. I think it's this heart that looks like, to me, 2 snake heads at the top and then a heart. If you've ever seen anything like that, I think that's what they're talking about. Anyway, while the heart as we are used to seeing it is quite clear in this form, an entirely new part of the heart is also revealed. This is because the letter lamed is the tallest of all Hebrew letters in the alphabet. The reason is because the lamed represents the concept of breaking out of boundaries, of going beyond your potential, of entering the superconscious from the conscious. The lamed also means 2 things simultaneously. It means to both learn and to teach, which shows us that there are 2 intertwined and both are essential. In a relationship, I must be willing to learn from the other, thereby making myself a receiver. Yet the other person also must be able to learn from me, which then makes me a teacher and a giver. Furthermore, the image of the lamed can be broken down into 3 other letters. The top part of the letter, that is Yud, the smallest of the Hebrew letters, and the letter that represents the head. The head contained the mind, the intellect, and also the face. The next letter in Elul is a Vav. In Hebrew, the Vav serves as a conjunctive, and as a word, Vav means hook, and in its form, it looks like a hook. So in this case, the Vav is the hook, which is connecting the Yud, the mind, with the bottom letter, the Shaf, which represents the body. Physically speaking, it symbolizes the neck, which transports the flow of blood from the brain to the heart. This teaches us that the heart, that the love that it represents, can thrive, can flourish only when there is in a totality in connection. The Jewish heart, true love, represents a mind to mind, face to face, eye to eye, body to body, soul to soul connection. The Vav, the connection between the head and the heart, must always stay healthy with a clear flow. If anything cuts off, the relationship cannot continue. As we all know, one of the quickest ways to kill a person is a slit right across the neck. The neck is our lifeline. It ensures that our head of our intellect rules above our emotions and that there is a healthy interchange between the mind and the heart. The heart that we are all familiar with, the symbol that represents love throughout the world, lacks the yud and the vav. It's missing the mind and the neck. The popular symbol represents only the physical connection between bodies. So this is why and how Elul is the month that begins back to back and ends face to face. At the beginning of the month, we are unaware of the reality that I am to my beloved and my beloved is to me. However, by working on ourselves during this month, by being willing to turn around and make changes, we come to realize that our Creator has never had his back turned. He has always been facing us and just waiting for us to turn around. And once we do, we are then like two lameds that are face to face, which from the Jewish heart and which are the essence of the month of Elul. Elul then must be understood as an Aleph, representing God, followed by a Lamed, Vav, Lamed, a Lamed that is connected to the other Lamed. And the Jewish heart, this idea of love as a totality of connection, is not merely the work of the month of Elul, but is the entire purpose of our creation. This Jewish heart is a symbol for why we were created and what we're meant to accomplish. For the Torah is the blueprint of creation and the guidebook of how we connect to the divine. And it is not a book that has a beginning, middle, and end, but rather a scroll, since we are taught that the end is wedged in the beginning and the beginning in the end. So what do we find when the Torah school's ends rolls to the beginning? How does the Torah end and begin? The last word of the Torah is Yisrael, Israel, which ends with the letter Lamed. Lamed, I didn't mention it, but if you haven't figured it out, is the letter L, by the way. And the first word is Bereshit, meaning the beginning, which begins with a Beit. When we join the first and last letters of the Torah, we have Lev, the Hebrew word for heart. May we be blessed with the ability to tap into the powers of the month of Elul, to recognize and reveal our ability to both learn and teach, and through that, to come face to face with ourselves, with our loved ones, and with our Creator, as we are taught through the Jewish heart. The Jewish heart designed and, oh, now we're talking about some jewelry. It's something about some copyrighted jewelry. So forget that last line, scratch that. And that's that. Now that, in part, in great part, is why I was hoping that as many of you as possible would, purchase a Divine Cleanse by Monday. And I'm so thankful to those of you who did, because I'm really, really excited, to help you to heal. And we continue to get just rave, resounding reviews about Divine Light Cleanse. And I couldn't feel more blessed and honored and humbled to be able to perform it for those of you who wish that I do. So thank you. With that, I guess I'll do the dice, although I didn't have them ready. I see them. Pardon my arm for a second. I see them hiding over here. If I can get them with these nails of mine. So I'm beginning with my shoes, dirty movie, and forget it. Of course, the other reasons why I was hoping that people would want fresh starts, which the Divine Light Cleanse has been providing to all who've received it, is because the new moon, of course. It is a black moon, and I'll talk about that when I do the reading, because, Lilith and all that stuff, I got to get into that. But it's a new moon, and new moons are about new beginnings. And so this week, what we should be focusing on is what we want new in our life. Write it down, speak it aloud, whatever you need to do to feel comfortable and to manifest your needs, your desires into your, tangible, in a tangible sense, into your hands, then do that. So new moon, solar eclipses are also about new beginnings. So we got like, a new beginning trifecta going. It's really, really an awesome time, to just prepare, cleanse yourself, take a shower before going out into this brand new, like you don't put on a brand new outfit dirty, when you haven't washed. It just feels good to me to be cleansed first. So anyway, here we go. Spirit says dirty movie. Forget it. And cocktail. All right, so with that, I'm going to go to my Keepers of the Light Oracle, beginning very appropriately with Mother Mary. No, not on purpose. This is to whom I shuffled. Love and peace is what she brings. Let go of the need to be right. This sounds like the story, turning the back. And this sounds like what I've been talking to you guys about the past 2 weeks, when I admitted that even I had taken on that Venus Ice Queen with the back turned from my hashtag creepy deck, just like putting up a wall of unwelcoming energy, knowingly, keeping the masculine at bay if he had intended to turn around, like not being willing to take the risk that he would turn around, just like they described, in the reading. The female or the feminine not having the courage or strength, and in some case being filled with fear to not do it. For me, it was definitely the strength, because I was going through a lot of other things, and I just couldn't have or didn't want to take on something else that might not work. Like if he was going to be around and it was going to be working, it was going to be good, then of course that's what I want. But I wasn't in a position at the time to take the risk. Like my mother needed my focus, my work needed my focus. I can't be half-stepping when it comes to that. When I'm helping other people and working with other people's souls, that's not okay, for me not to be fully present in that. And my schoolwork needed my focus. So there went that. But in any case, I was just, going over the connection of us to those that came before us and things like the month of Elul and what Mother Mary is here about, right? She's saying, let go of the need to be right and just like choose peace and basically take that risk. Mother healing is possible at this time if you need it. And opening to Krishna and devotion. Trust that your spiritual guidance, your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. Krishna. Serapis Bay, ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. Serapis Bay. And faith, humanity, and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world. This really says it. Trust the good in yourself and others. Like, don't assume that the other person is, that it's not going to work out, that the other person is not going to do the right thing, and be on the same page as you. That's a mistake. All right, faith. Krishna's back with devotion. And our overall energy is hope, love, and acceptance, but they wanted to show me that Mary was back as well. She's right behind that one. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. The divine couple. The recent past. Blocks to the union. The outcome. The masculine's higher self. The near future. What the feminine can do, what the masculine can do according to the masculine, and advice from the universe, contrarily. So yes, again, hope. Overall energy. The divine couple. Green Tara, supreme protection. So no need to be afraid, you know, to lack that courage and the confidence in ourselves. We can, you know, turn around and be face to face. But as the month allows, if you need a little time to do some introspection, that's okay too. You're protected even throughout that period. You are protected, period. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation. Trust. The recent past. Higher learning. I was thinking about this as we were reading too, because this card always reminds me of the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is about higher learning. And I always say, like when I try to describe what it means to me, at least for people, it's about hooking up with people, whether romantic or otherwise, just relationships in general, need to be with people of your vibration or higher, from whom you can learn something and to whom you can teach something. I say this all the time. So it looks like in the recent past, what we have been doing is, you know, receiving those lessons from our experiences and, you know, and benefiting from them, taking what we need from those things. You have learned from experience. Yeah, there we go. More inner study is now required. So more introspection is required to further the progress. So just as we read, this card appears. Blocks to the union. Cernunos, life force. Express your driving passion. Sexual and sensual powers are increased. This can be for some this is the lack of connection with the earth, period. Like we're not grounded, we're not, you know, rooted, and we need to do that. For others, this is the third energy and party activity that's been going on, where we've been more addressing physical needs than emotional. The near future. Divine healing with Hilarion. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. That's what comes after the introspection. The masculine's higher self. This week. Dharma unfolding. Love it. Remember that you're on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. What can the feminine do this week to further the union along? The Shekinah, sacred self. Unleash your spirit. Express your gifts. Dance the sacred rhythm of life. So this is the feminine unleashing herself upon the world, not holding back, coming out of the closet, you know, release your X as in capital X, all that stuff for the feminine this week. Come out of your shell, basically. What can the masculine do? This is all according to him, by the way. Faith, humanity, and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others, and see the light in the world. So he's telling himself not to turn his back also, which is awesome. Hopefully we won't see that Venus card at all this week. Or at least not in that regard. And advice from the universe as opposed to the masculine's higher self. Diana, focused intention. I was just talking about focus, the need for focus, and how it's hard to sort of cut yourself into pieces and focus on one thing or another, or we feel like it is. It is fear. It's fear that we're not going to be successful. It's lack of faith. So what the universe guides us both to do, male and female, masculine and feminine this week, is focused intention. Think about what you desire. This also comes into play with the new moon as well. Setting intentions. Set your sights high. Expect the best possible outcome. And what is the outcome? Kathumi, cloak of wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. So So we know what the outcome is, right? At the end, we know what happens at the end of this story. And I've said that many times. That's one of my, like catchphrases for my divine masculine. I know how this ends. So whatever's going on, it's like, it's fine. Moving right along. And I guess that should be our demeanor, our sentiment this week. All right, from a general sense, remember this is the general reading. So now I'm going to go on to the Angel Tarot and see what's going on there. Beginning with the Page of Earth. Scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. The Page of Earth is a Virgo, maybe like Mercury in Virgo. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. Can also be a Capricorn or Taurus, of course. And pages bring news. This one brings news of, yes, financial matters. Maybe we've been feeling trapped by our lack of finances, so we need this news, this showing up here with air. This can be, in fact, Mercury in Virgo. And maybe it's been affecting your finances, but that's about to change. You're about to get something. An illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, being afraid to take action, turning your back, basically. Eight of Air. Release. So this is about to change. This also tells us that this energy is about to change. With release, something is going to transform or it's going to go away forever. Whatever the case is, at the end of the day, it's not going to exist the way that it did, at any other time ever again. That's done. Because release is death in the traditional tarot. The end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation. It's time to move on. Death represents the sign of Scorpio or other water sign, perhaps. Cancer, Pisces. Death now at the bottom. And, this is perfect. All about the introspection. The Hermit with Archangel Raziel. Spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, self-discovery. Release. And it's the Empress with Archangel Gabriel. Lavish abundance. Give birth to your dreams. This is all about new beginnings and material and financial, blessings coming your way. Abundance. Nurture yourself and others. This card represents Venus for me, the planet Venus, which does rule both love and money. So it can be abundance of both of those things. Also, the signs of the zodiac signs of Libra and Taurus, which Venus rules. The overall energy is the Queen of Earth. Thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible is the Queen of Earth. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. Like the Page, or possibly the Empress, the Queen of Earth is a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes. Or is the person that facilitates the abundance that comes into your life this week. Or it could be your energy. You could be the Queen of Earth, male or female, masculine or feminine. You can be the Queen of Earth, whether you are one of those earth element zodiac signs or not. Masculine, ego, Capricorn, the devil. A false sense of entrapment. So this is very much like that Eight of Air that came through before. Being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. And I was talking about maybe when I had the Eight of Air opposite the Page of Earth, I was saying maybe trapped by lack of finances, lack of material. That can certainly be represented by the devil. This can also be just trapped by your own fear to move, fear to turn around, and or the feeling of being bound to somebody or something or someplace. Addictions all can come with that card. Ooh, surrounded by the Three of Air. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. And in the masculine subconscious, The Emperor with Archangel Michael. Organization and logic, structure and discipline. The Emperor represents the sign of Aries, or perhaps other fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius. And it's a 4. It's all about our foundations, what the masculine is thinking about here. The Feminine, the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. Knight of Air is quick to take off. He may be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. The Feminine is surrounded by the 4 of water, missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. This could be like the masculine turns around and your back is already turned, so you don't realize it, you don't see. Maybe that's why he's sad here. Feminine subconscious, the 2 of water, because she wants the same thing. She wants him just as much as he wants her. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. Crowning. The 6 of water, all about soulmate relationships, or maybe perhaps something going on with your children. Can be people from your past coming back into your life, including your soulmate. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. And the 3 of water, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or a birth announcement. The need to have more fun. This can be getting out and having some fun. We have also 2 3s here crossing one another. We have a 6 here. Some of these masculine may be in other relationships and feeling stuck in that way, not knowing how to get out. With these 2 6s here, one of which being the devil. At the heart of the matter, the Page of Water, intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly is the Page of Water. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. Heightened psychic abilities. Page of Water brings news, because all pages bring news, of something, you know, that makes you feel good, of an emotional or loving nature. Again, it can be your soulmate returning to you, and maybe that's cause for celebration. I had a client, a client of both of my readings and Divine Light Cleanse Sunday. And at the time that I did her cleanse, which is during the period since I've been doing them publicly, you know, not when I was doing them privately. Since I've been doing them publicly, when I did hers, let's just say her life was very different and her relationship was very different. There was separation, there was whatever. Now they're married, maybe 6 weeks later. The next card is upright. Let's see if it can clarify the 3 of air for us. 9 of water. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, and you have a love of life. So maybe this is more mental. Mental anguish. Again, that fear of stepping forward, of turning around. That if he did, you know, his dream would come true. He'd find out that the feminine wanted him also. Maybe that she was making an offer of love, but his back's turned. I'm going to go on to the Ascended Master cards. But since Tarot, and especially when it's minor arcana, not major arcana, is supposed to give us, like, you know, a forecast, we know not to do this, masculine. You know, we know that that's not the case, that this is the case. The feminine is, she is at risk of missing you, of not turning around, but she wants to. She wants to turn around. So you can take the risk. You're not like, you can release the reins on yourself and the fear on yourself. See what the Ascended Masters would add to this, beginning with you can do it. See, Archangel Michael agrees. And opening 2, see the other person's point of view. We have to, this applies to us both in seeing and understanding why maybe the back was turned when we turned around and looked. Now we know why. Because they're feeling the same fear we are. So try to understand that about one another. And in general, as dealing with people this week, opening to crystals and Epona. This is something that can help us to cut those cords that we saw were being cut. We could maybe work with some selenite this week. We could work with some rose quartz for the love. We can work with some different green stones for the healing. Maybe I like seraphonite, I like serpentine, but I'm, you know, kind of biased to those, I guess. Peridot for Virgo. Maybe you want to do that since we're dealing with that Mercury in Virgo. Maybe you want to deal with work with peridot. That's a very healing stone too. See the other person's point of view. And opening to purification with white Tara. So there's a need to detox ourselves and our lives, like get rid of all people, places, and things that are toxic to us. See the other person's point of view. And one more. Detached from drama, says Pallas Athena. See the other person's point of view. And Oshan says, drink more water. I think there's going to be, a lot of like ascension symptoms being moved forward by the eclipse and stuff like that. So we should. The overall energy is thought with this big moon here. So this may be coming into play Monday or this weekend with the moon, or even thereafter. I mean, this whole week we'll be feeling the energy of the eclipse for months. Some people say till like January. So at least till October, November, when I think it'll be most important, because again, like Jupiter and Scorpio and all these other, the end of Lilith, Lilith moves into Capricorn, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, for this week, yes, thought says write, and maybe what you'll be writing is some sort of, love note or, friendly, loving communication to somebody you haven't seen in a while or something like that. Inviting somebody out, writing an invitation, invite somebody out to spend some time socially. It doesn't have to be romantic, although it can very well be. Sitting here next to the Two of Water as well. Right. Here atop the Devil. Health and healing, says Hilarion. So pulling away from that, the ties that bind you, basically. Releasing the reins on yourself and working on getting well through introspection. And energy healing, says Merlin. Because again, this person is somebody who is dealing with a lot of mental anguish. They need to work with crystal. They need to drink water. They need to meditate. They need to be out with the earth. That was one of the blocks to the union. I felt that right away, even before feeling anything about the sexual, tension and what the card spoke of, which was sexual energy and stuff. Yeah, before that, definitely the need to get out and reconnect with nature. So work on that, masculine. And here atop the Emperor and organization and logic is drink more water with Oshan. So I think also, again, you guys going through some ascension symptoms, and you need to remain hydrated. Here, top the Knight of Air for the feminine, very appropriately so, is artistic expression, because a Knight of Air, again, as an air sign, air element, is all about communication and expression. That's what we do. So coming up with creative solutions to your issues, problems, concerns, desires, wants, writing those things down. Again, talking to the universe, writing a note to the universe. Here atop the Four of Water, positive change, as Parvati. That's what you're to be careful not to miss. All right, when, to open your eyes to the possibilities of positive change rather than dwelling on what may not work out. And here atop Two of Water, it's freedom with Hina and more moon. The freedom, to be what you want to be and how you want to be with this person. The freedom to turn around, not being restricted and limited by your own fear and lack of confidence and lack of courage and all that kind of stuff. Freedom to move forward. Top the Six of Water, clear and shield your energy. Maybe some of these people that are returning to your life are not people that you want around you. Or maybe it's a karmic soulmate. It's not a mistake here that it's crossing energy healing and sitting next to health and healing for the masculine. There's somebody from his past that is toxic to him. And here atop the Three of Water is mother, wife, sister, daughter, and Lady Nada. Now, as a three, this can, at least in part, be representative of a party of three, maybe even a love triangle being water cups, or somebody's family, children and stuff like that. So it may very well be a case where we need to heal a relationship with our mother, wife, sister, daughter. For others of us, this is about, again, that introspection and getting in touch with your own inner feminine and healing her. And lastly, at the heart of the matter, atop the page of water, find the blessing in your current situation, says Krishna. So we might not have it all yet. There may be some things that have to be worked out. For those of us leaving a failed relationship or closing the door on a failed relationship to make way for new beginnings this week, that might have caused some of this hurt here. You know, the pain of letting go of the old, but find the blessing in your current situation, that the universe always replaces these things with new and better. And with that, let's do the advice. From the Keepers of the Light Oracle to the masculine, El Moria, awakening presence. Yes, I think this will be certainly you this week. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and be love. Love it. For the feminine, it's Lady Venus facing forward, right? Face to face, not with her back turned. Downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. From the angels to the wow, here's your new beginning. Told ya. You're letting go of something old to make way for something new and awesome. Falling in love with a resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. Some of us may be having children this week too, with the 6 of water here, the 3 of water here, and now the ace on the side of the masculine. Some of you guys. And for the feminine, the Ace of Fire. We're starting off fresh as well. An exciting new opportunity, career advancement. Change your life now. Ace of Fire and Ace of Water, 2 cards that can certainly mean new relationship, new love, maybe even new life together, period. We're moving in together. We're, we're moving forward one way or another, because fire or wands is an element of movement. And then this is love and emotion. So we're moving forward, or we're moving, period, in the area of love and emotion. And we know it's forward. We know it's new because an ace represents new, represents 1 or 11. You know, that's what it means. And from the Ascended Masters to the masculine, father, husband, brother, son, Osiris. This can certainly be his own energy, or he may have his inner masculine to heal this week while he's doing that introspection. And lastly, for the feminine, detach from drama, says Pallas Athena. Just walk away this week. We don't have time for it. We're healing. We're working on ourselves. Soon we'll be coming back face to face. But, that's going to be in love. So we're done with this, basically. I hope that you guys find this reading helpful and that you enjoy it. Namaste, angels.